last 3 days has been an oscillation between are we evacuating or are we not evacuating? And so when I was coming back and setting up the podcast background, I realized that this was missing because this is one of the things I grabbed to take with me
That's
if we were
valuable.
evacuating.
Yeah.
I know. And yeah, so Los Angeles right now is experiencing some horrible fires, and it really sucks. A lot of it comes from the fact that we don't get much rain until a little later, February, March, because of how our weather is. And because of that, it's extremely dry, and there's a lot of debris that catches on fire very easily. And combine that with the patterns and what happened in the last few days. Basically, there was a crap ton of wind.
We are the
Get Reelisms Podcast.
I am Adam Chase Rani.
And I am Christine Chen. And surprise, we're both filmmakers.
We get into it by sharing secrets, advice, and gossip in filmmaking.
And we even get our other filmmaking friends to share theirs too.
So please, everybody, join us for
An ode to filmmaking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Get Reelisms Podcast, episode 163, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for being here. I am Adam Chase Rani.
And I am Christine Chen. And
Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, we haven't done one in a while, and I feel like we don't remember how to anymore.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience every time we come back.
I don't realize how much of a process it is until you do it, which, yeah, this isn't my regular voice. This is my sick voice. I am very sick. I came back home a couple days ago from the holidays, and I am recovering. Not hungover. I wish I was hungover because then I would cure in 24 hours. No, I just have a deep sore throat, and it's been a while since I've been sick. Of course, when I do get sick, it's going to hit me like a fucking freight train. Yeah, I might be coming in and out, dosing myself some Dayquil. We'll see what happens. But Christine, before we get into the fires, I do want to get a little bit of a personal update from you. You came back from New York, right?
Yeah, I ended the year with a bang, being in New York City. I spent it the month of December. Both of my family, they're all in Taiwan right now, and my brother is with his family, his wife, and everything. And so yeah, it's just me. And I thought, hey, let's spend the entire month in New York City, because New York is someplace I've wanted to check out. It's another major city, major film hub. And I wanted to see personality-wise whether or not New York would be a better fit for me than Los Angeles. So as some of you have heard through the podcast, that the transition into Los Angeles has been quite a difficult one for me. I didn't realize it would be. But yeah, I had a blast in New York. Went there to shadow a friend of the podcast. Her name is Cynthia Wade. And so she had a commercial that she was directing on December. And so I got to shadow and see the process for that. It was a pharmaceutical commercial. And then the rest of the month, I did a lot of writing. So this coincides with a lot. In the past, I always do, since 2022, I do a trip by myself at the end of the year for the purpose of writing. I find that I get inspired by being in some place that's not my room, basically. And I was very prolific, so it was successful. I wrote a pitch, 10 pages for, it's trash, but I wrote it for the Verticals. So Verticals format really soapy type content. And so I wrote something like that for them called, I will not reveal what it is, but it's pretty trashy. And then I have been on a major rewrite for En route. So that's been a script that, if you've been following along, I've been writing since 18 basically. And so a major rewrite on that. And then Camille, also a friend of the podcast, also a co-writer of Urzly and many other things for Urzly. She came and joined me like December 26th and onward. And somebody said something on you read yeah. And we knocked out. We broke a script on New Year's Eve. That is what we did for New Year's Eve. On New
Nice.
Year's Eve, the very morning, we went to go get breakfast, and then we started. Like, it was not intended this way. We just she said something that was very funny when she first woke up, and I was like, "This is great. We should put this in a script." And then we just started. Before we knew it, we were writing, and we wrote from the morning. We got the breakfast, we ate it, we wrote all the way till midnight. Basically, we're like, you know what? Maybe we need to turn on the TV and do the whole countdown thing. And so we turn on the TV, and we're like both writing and spitballing and stuff like that. We do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cool. All right, we do Happy New Year, bitch. And then we just kept writing. That was the best way to spend New Year's, honestly. Breaking a new script with one of your best friends and co-writers. It was great. And yeah, we're like 50 pages in. We already
Wow.
know pretty much how the whole structure is going to be, but
So it's going to be a feature? Y'all are writing a
it's
feature?
a feature.
Okay.
It's a feature. Yeah, it's for sure a feature.
Right on.
So I can tell the title. The title is Best Bad Influence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So it's a little bit tone-wise. There's a buddy comedy that just came out called Babes. So
Oh,
two
yeah.
female best friends type thing. Very different topic, but it's the whole like imperfect. Women are imperfect. It's highlighting that. And yeah, I had a great time. Wrote a lot, networked with a lot of people, made a lot of cool connections. And yeah, thank you, New York, for an incredible experience. And it is my goal for 2025 to become bi-coastal. So I would love to spend more time in New York. I would like to be able to work in New York too, but it'd be cool if I could like work here and make the money and then go pop over there and stuff like that. And for those who are wondering like, oh, how is she like affording this? Okay. The life hack is this. You pet sit for people. Pet sit and house sitting. That is how I'm able to do this. So I'm not paying rent in 2 different cities. I'm still on a poor artist budget. I'm able to do this because I pet sit for people. So that was what I did in New York. I pet sat for somebody, two houses actually in New York. Yeah, you can do it too. So yeah, if anybody wants to know, the community is called Trusted House Sitters. If you DM me or whatever, I'll send you introduction to it, and you get like 25% off and stuff for the membership. But it's well worth it.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is not a commercial for that, but I just feel like people are always trying to figure out how can they travel more, and that is one way you can, is through ways to, because think about it, what's the part that costs money? It's hotel stays, Airbnb fees, and stuff like that. And you don't want to stay with your friends for a month and be a nuisance unless you're super close to your friends and they're like, please stay for a month, like my friends in Austin. But yeah, that's how I'm able to do it. Yes. Somebody said Trusted House Sitters is a great platform.
Yeah, they also said, I love NYC, lived there for many years. This is from Gina Manola. I love NYC, lived there for many years. You and I met in LA last summer at a Nickel Fellows party and talked about Austin since that's where I was about to move. Been here for 4 months and love it. Oh, you're here in Austin. Oh, congrats.
Hey, Austin,
right on.
That's so exciting. Oh, good. I remember you. Yes, I'm so happy that you love Austin. Austin is the best. I miss it. I actually, a little known fact, I'm turning 40 this year. I'm teetering between freaking out and pretending that it doesn't exist. But I believe, I already warned my friends in Austin that I'm coming to Austin to celebrate my 40th because
I'm so excited.
I have so many friends that I miss in Austin, and nothing would make me feel better than going and seeing everybody and reminding myself that I am surrounded by people that love me and stuff. It feels oftentimes very lonely in Los Angeles, but but Austin and Texas in general, the South has always been very good to me. So yeah, but speaking of Los Angeles, we were going to do a year-end review, but there are much bigger pressing issues.
That was when we had a shortage of content. Now that
now
Christine's in the 8th circle of
don't.
hell.
Yes.
Now we have content.
Yeah. I am very grateful. But the last 3 days has been an oscillation between are we evacuating or are we not evacuating? And so when I was coming back and setting up the podcast background, I realized that this was missing because this is one of the things I grabbed to take with me
That's
if we were
valuable.
evacuating.
Yeah.
I know. And yeah, so Los Angeles right now is experiencing some horrible fires, and it really sucks. A lot of it comes from the fact that we don't get much rain until a little later, February, March, because of how our weather is. And because of that, it's extremely dry, and there's a lot of debris that catches on fire very easily. And combine that with the patterns and what happened in the last few days. Basically, there was a crap ton of wind. Like I'm telling you, the wind was nuts. It was like you felt like you were in a hurricane because it was hitting the window so hard, but there was no rain, just really heavy winds. And you combine with winds and human error, and you're just going to have crazy fire. That's just going to happen. The hard thing was that the Palisades, why it happened so fast, is because when there's big ass wind, nobody can do any. Like the fire department, they can't go in and put water onto the fire because they just gotta let the winds die before they can do anything effectively, and so then they spread really fast. And I think what's the scariest part about this fire is that it's been several days of unpredictable winds, and the winds cause like embers to float to other places, and what seemed to be over around the mountain would like embers came and like set Woodley Park, which is close by to us, for example, on fire. And then why we were freaking out, not the day before yesterday, it was the shifting of the winds caused the fire to shift from going south to north, which is towards the valley, basically. And we could see it. That was the scariest, is like you walk out of our house
That's
and we
crazy.
could see
Just
like,
down the street.
this like hellfire.
That's
like
crazy.
coming over the mountain. And it was just like, cool, okay, yeah, let's figure out what we're gonna do and grab and evacuate and all sorts of stuff. So that was the scary part.
Yeah.
That.
I'm sharing
Yeah.
my screen right now on the update for the Palisades fire. And it's pretty. The fact that only 11% of it, as of this morning on Sunday, is contained is
Yeah.
insane to me. That is absolutely fucking wild. And 23,707 acres and numerous homes, business, and landmarks in Pacific. So that means not just residential, commercial, statues, parks, everything. So this is pretty fucking devastating. And for people, like, the thing that I've seen a lot, and maybe you can care to comment on this, was that everybody keeps saying that, oh, California is known for fires for the past like 10, 15, 20 years. Like, what difference does this fire make? And the fact that this fire is happening, and the fact that there is not only just one source of fire, but there's 5 sources of fires, several sources of fires all around LA. Not just LA County,
like
but
a circle of fire.
It's literally a circle of fire. So this is ideally probably the biggest fire that California has ever witnessed in its own history.
Yeah.
And so this is not a regular thing. Fires do happen a lot in California. That's true. But this kind of fire in LA is a completely different beast in of itself.
Yeah. And the thing is, everyone in LA knows at least one person who has lost everything. That's
everything.
The really shitty part. I know 2 people off the top of my head. I've shared their direct GoFundMe campaigns. Lost everything. Entire home completely gone. One is a fellow actor who was in my proof of concept short. Adam, you would know him too. Ash. He played Joey in Root. His whole place is gone. His whole place.
That's horrible.
Is gone.
How's he doing? He has a family too, right?
Yeah, he has a fiance and thing. They're safe.
Okay.
But the last time I checked, luckily their GoFundMe, they've reached it. So hopefully that
Oh,
at least
that's
helps
great.
them
Yeah.
for a little bit. But that's, I mean, that you can't. There's things that you cannot replace, like memories and
No, that's true.
and yeah, there's just
Yeah.
so that sucks. And then Olivia Newman, she's like a mentor to me, a friend, but she's the director of Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yeah, she was a friend of
sh-
the podcast. She was on here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. She also completely her house,
Wow.
everything gone. Yeah, so that's real. It just really sucks. And then like it's a big mind fuck. That's the thing. So like just being here and not being able, like my roommate Casey hasn't slept. Like yesterday was okay, but the day before yesterday, when we weren't sure if we were going to evacuate or not evacuate because we could see the whole hellfire like right there, he stayed up to make sure we wouldn't miss an evacuation alert type thing.
Yeah.
And it's it's just mentally draining. So I count ourselves extremely lucky, and I'm very grateful. So this is not a complaint at all, but like I feel so bad for people who are in the situation of, do we evacuate or do we not evacuate? And then the thing is, okay, you evacuate, but that doesn't alleviate the anxiety, because then the whole time you're wondering, will I have a place to come back to? I have another set of friends, their place is okay, but they've been gone shooting in a different state.
Yeah.
They've had to hear things from their neighbor who's, oh yeah, your house is still standing, still good. Like that is such a big like mind fuck. And so
Can you guys smell the smoke too? Can you guys breathe in that? You guys are
right
probably
now,
breathing in that smoke as well.
Yes, it's also super toxic too.
That's great.
Right now it has improved, but like the day before yesterday, anywhere we went, we wore a mask. And because the stuff in Los Angeles, a lot of the homes are very old. And so the homes are not to your modern code. So, lead, all the toxic things. And so that's what's floating around in the air.
Gina also made another comment. Same. I've lived through many fire seasons in LA. Never seen anything like this. Friends losing everything, moving all over the city to find a safer place to be. Worried for my film and TV friends who are already struggling due to the state of the industry. It's like a compounding. It's like COVID strikes fires. It's like,
I know.
This is so unfair. This is crazy. I don't mean to laugh at it, you guys. I laugh at things that are pretty tragic. This is just my personality.
No, it's not. We're just like the puppy that keeps getting kicked. Basically.
Yeah,
That's how I feel like living
it's horrible.
in LA. Just okay. All right. I'm gonna get up, and then someone kicks. So it's just been crazy. But like Roxy, a friend of the podcast, and I yesterday went to Costco to go get stuff for our local firefighters and stuff. And
that is cool.
That is when you run into other people at Costco who are literally also doing the same thing. It is really nice, and it's a good reminder of, hey, in these like terrible tragedies, there is humanity and people are helping each other. The donation centers have been receiving overwhelming support, which is fantastic. Yeah, people have donated clothing, food, and everything to evacuees, and a lot of businesses have opened their doors to allow for evacuees to come and eat for free or a discount or whatnot. And these are the times where I'm like, oh, maybe Los Angeles does have us. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
there are nice people in LA, turns out.
There are nice people in LA.
Wow.
Wow. It's just hard to see it sometimes when you're in it.
And it sucks that it has to be a tragedy like this in order to see people come together in its community.
And I think it's no fault. It's just LA is a very tough city to live in. It is. We are siloed in our cars. We go from point A to point B. And so you have to be very intentional with who you are actually meeting with. It's very different from New York. You're surrounded by people because you're on public transportation. So there are plenty of times for people to randomly talk to you, to random. I had so many random conversations in New York. It was unreal. And yeah, so it's a different feeling. And I'm not gonna hate on Los Angeles or anything. It's a different vibe, and Los Angeles has done a great job in the time of need, coming together as a community and supporting each other. So I applaud you, Los Angeles, and I applaud everybody else outside who have. And this is I have had so many amazing friends come in, reach out, and check on me and everything. And thank you guys so much. Like, it really means a lot to know that, hey, other people out of the wood, people I haven't talked to for a while have reached out to be like, hey, if you need a place to stay or whatnot, let us know. That's amazing.
That is cool.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody who continue to do that to support their friends and stuff in Los Angeles. Hopefully this will get contained more, but it's just
10% contained, really 11% contained is pretty wild. And that's this morning. And that's only in the Palisades.
Yeah.
It's
Eaton, better, though.
In Eaton, it said on Friday it was only at 3% contained. And that was on Friday. And Sunday, during Hearst Fire, which is a little bit better, 76% is contained in the Hearst Fire, which only had 779 acres in the area around Sylmar. That sounds familiar. As of this Sunday, today at 7 a.m., 76% has been contained. Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy shit. And it is good, like you said, to see that there are people reaching out who you really don't talk to, reach out to you and check in on you. And then it's probably because if y'all are going through it, there's probably going to be people who are going through it worse. There's probably going to be people who lost their homes. They, like you said, lose memories and stuff just because it's like they still have their lives. Like, yeah, you still have your life, but if you lose a home, you lose a home. And in LA, for those of you who don't know, LA property, LA real estate in general is probably the highest next to New York. Just in terms of real estate in general, it's really, really high. And part of the reason is why I don't live in LA. But people like Christine, who works consistently, has been working in the film industry for years. It makes sense for Christine to be living in LA and getting gigs there. And thank God that nothing happened to y'all's home, because that would have been even worse. That would have been horrible. Because how do you recover from that?
I don't know. I've thought about it. It's a weird feeling running around your house trying to figure out, like, what are the things I must take.
Yeah.
And then
your dogs and the Get Reelism sign.
I got this, and then I grabbed I did grab my podcast mic and stuff like that, and then just, it looks like I'm moving right now. Like, we haven't all, because the photos, the invaluable things are on my wall, I've taken down and packed away and stuff like that, because of the stuff that you don't get back. And so it really looks like I'm moving. There's by the door are several suitcases of invaluable things, and then we still have my to-go bag is still in my car and stuff like that. I wish I could just keep it in my vehicle, but the issue is not only are we dealing with the fire, we're also dealing with looters as well. You can't keep stuff in your car because you don't know if somebody's going to come and smash your window and try to get to it. So it's just chaos.
It's just one thing after another. If y'all are out there in LA, please stay safe. There's plenty of resources to find and look at and get some support wherever y'all can get it. And it's nice to see too that, like Christine said earlier, there's been overwhelming amount of donations to certain causes that will allow people to hopefully get some of those donations, back to them so that they can survive. Yeah, this is pretty big, y'all. This is, like I said, like from the top of this conversation, like I know that people are going to say that California always has fires. What makes us any different? And it's just like, I don't know. You got to show a little bit of humanity when there's literally multiple spots of sources where fires are starting. And on top of that, the wind is picking up. Sure, it slows down, but just like any other wind, it picks right back up again. And I just saw a little blurb here. Sorry. Saw a little blurb here. Periods of elevated critical fire weather were expected to peak Saturday night into Sunday, and then again Monday night through Tuesday, as winds could gust up to more than 75 miles per hour. Y'all, I don't even go 70 miles per hour on a freeway. That's for the eastern part of the mountain ranges in Los Angeles County. Weather forecasters said that the turbulent conditions could help push the Eaton fire in the Altadena area farther south. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, basically Hearst is, if this is all of LA County, Hearst is on the top, I think, right? It's like above, it's like more north. They're saying that the fire is going to push south. It's just going to push farther south when there's already a fire on Sunset. There's a fire there's so many fires everywhere, y'all.
There's so many fires.
This isn't, like I said, again, guys, like this is not like something that is like, oh, LA will recover this next year. This is devastating.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It sucks. Yeah, it's insane. And have some
Sympathy?
compassion,
Yeah.
people. Yeah, sympathy. LA's not full of just celebrities and rich people.
It's not all assholes. It's not all assholes.
Not.
Because you have Christine and Roxy.
There's a lot of working class people who are barely making it in LA, like, and many of them are losing everything that they have and own. So just be
patient,
aware when you comment on things and make generalizations and stuff. Help when you can, and it is greatly appreciated. Going to the fire station and seeing the firefighters being really grateful and seeing that their stations are filled and stocked up and everything, like, that's great. It's nice to know that there's people in the community that care.
Yeah. Especially in a place where it's very independent. It's very much like you find your shit, I'm gonna find my shit.
Yeah. Especially in a place like LA that is a hard place already to survive. Yeah. But I'm
glad y'all are staying safe though.
Hope people are staying safe wherever they are. If they've evacuated, they're with friends, they're not alone. And I'd just be, and for those who are out and watching, the best thing you can do is to donate directly to people that you know are affected. I know that they've said that going through a lot of the services takes a little bit longer. So if you know somebody who has a GoFundMe or something, that's probably the best way to go about having direct impact. And
And also, if you just go to LA Times, they also have 5 or 6 charities that people are accepting donations from. Now, do I know that these are legit? It's coming from the LA Times. There's definitely multiple points, but like Christine said, there's GoFundMes that y'all can follow. Now, Christine, I want to ask, how does this, and maybe you can't fully answer this, which is fine, but I'm curious from your perspective, how does this affect the film industry? I know that's a big question, but I'm curious what you have to say.
I know that Roxy's on a film set right now, and they've had to, this whole week they were supposed to film. They've obviously canceled and pushed it. So there are definitely sets that have been halted.
Like by the fires, like any studio that are getting,
I don't think not like burned or anything, but like
I didn't read anything
pretty close to certain studios like the WB and everything. But I'm on a set next weekend, thank God. But I can tell you it's a weird ass feeling when you're going to a that's how I found out the first time we were evacuating. I had already left very early on, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. And because our set is in close to Downey. So from where I am, it's about an hour and a half drive. And we had to be there at 7 a.m. So I was out and on the road at 5:30 a.m. So while I'm driving at around 6:30 a.m., I get a call from Roxy, who's also on set, and she's the fire. The fire is like across the street, essentially. The Woodley fire was the one that was in. And she's, I can't wake up my husband. He's sleeping. And so what Roxy was able to do was get off, and she drove hell and fire into the. She likes to say she drove into the fire, but she drove back to the house to wake up her husband.
Yeah, but it's cooler when she says she drove into the fire.
She drove into the fire. She will.
Love
Said when
Roxy.
she's dying in her 80s, she will still hold to the fact that she drove into the fire. And I will fully support her that she drove into the fire.
That's what a good friend does. Yeah.
But she drove and woke her husband up, and they grabbed all the bags that we had luckily discussed the night before. It's great. Roxy has enough anxiety for all of us in our whole house.
I know.
Which is fantastic. It's great. I have never felt safer.
Yeah.
Because I, who have lived in a house full of anxiety, have gone the polar opposite of being completely desensitized to chaos. So I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. Like
You're
I'm
like,
too chill.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like,
too chill.
have you ever seen Dark Knight Rises with Bane?
Yes.
You're like Bane. You're just like, I was born in chaos.
Yes, exactly. So like I've gone the polar opposite of being completely desensitized to chaos.
Right.
And so I would be the person who's like, oh, cool, the fire is in our
It's right next door.
backyard.
Wow.
Yeah,
You can say hi.
Yeah, guess we should leave now. So luckily I've got Roxy who has like 10 emergency plans and like very prepared. And so we had already walked through what our evacuation plan was. So we had all packed to go bags already. And this was when I was like, it's not that. It's fine. It's over there. It will be fine. And so I only packed some of my clothes, like just like
God,
toiletries.
you're like my
literally
dad. Whenever there's like something like a tragedy, like a flooding, it's not that fine. The water is like 2 inches high. It's fine.
It's fine. And so we packed to go bags. So luckily they grabbed all of that stuff. Plus like I have a firebox and all of our like documents stuff in it. So they grabbed that and they temporarily evac'd. So I wasn't even involved in this whole process. I was somewhere in Downey on a location scout being like, oh cool, my roommates have evacuated. Yeah. This is weird. Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to have a home to come to. That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't even know after this location scout where I was going.
Oh,
like people
God,
were like,
that's
where are you
terrifying.
gonna go after this? I was like, I have no clue. I don't know.
That's crazy.
But luckily they controlled the Woodley fire pretty fast.
Yeah.
And so by the time we'd finished with our location scout, Roxy and Casey were already coming back to the house, and I had a place that I knew I was going back to as well. The second time around, which was not the day before yesterday, that was a different story because I was here at the house and Roxy was like, I think we might have to evacuate. And I was like, really? And she's like, yes, the wind is changing direction. Go look outside. And I walk outside and I see that fire there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should leave.
Okay. We should rethink our evacuation plan. I should rethink my evacuation plan. That's when I actually mentally went through the process of going, what are the invaluables that I should take? Not just like a 3 days of clothing and I actually had the time to process and be like, oh, I want to take my podcast stuff. I want to take these photos off the wall. So I'm grateful that I actually had that because there's a lot of people in LA who didn't even have the time to think through things that they needed to bring.
It's just the clothes on their back and they just leave. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had the time to sit through and be like, okay.
Yeah.
I want to take these things and stuff. So I had a lot of time to overthink, basically, which is great. I'm grateful for that. So yeah, it looks like we're moving. But I hope everybody else out there stays safe. And please check local resources to see if you can donate directly to people who need it. Those are probably the most direct impact. Check in with the fire stations that are in the area fighting and call ahead and see what items that they need if you're local. And yeah, that's the best way to. And if you're not in LA and you feel like, oh, I want to help as well, there are many organizations that are leading the charge. I know Red Cross, World Food, I think World Food Bank or something.
World Food Kitchen.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
Food Kitchen. Yeah, so there's a list. If you just Google LA fires donations.
Yeah,
so
LA
many
Times
things.
has a lot
Yeah.
of resources too. Just
Yes.
Google LA Times, LA Fire, and you'll see a bunch of charity
Yeah.
links.
Yes, but I can guarantee you, if you know somebody that's in Los Angeles, even if they're not directly affected in terms of their house being burned down, they will know somebody who has a GoFundMe campaign that you can donate to. I already said I have 2. Yeah, but we must prepare for our next podcast.
Oh, is
So,
it
yeah.
time? It's already almost
It is.
time. Wow.
It's crazy. So our guest is actually waiting in our waiting room.
You know the drill. Yeah, GetReelisms.com. Pick up your books. GetReelisms.com. Definitely donate to the fires, though. If you have any money, definitely donate to the fires. But listen, we got books. We got teas like these. We got hats like
Yes.
those.
Yeah, and they're doing well. Film Tools just reloaded on some of our books. And when I was in New York, the Drama Bookshop also is now carrying the ABCs. And
That's great.
you can actually go on Amazon as well now to order Get Reelisms. We prefer if you order through us because then we don't have to deal with fees and stuff.
Yeah, go
But, you
through
know, we
Get
get it.
Reelisms.
Yeah, please spread the word. And we just want to build community through knowledge when it comes to the film industry.